Yes, welcome back to the channel. It's a massive Champions League draw that's just happened. And we're also looking forward to the Arsenal versus Chelsea game and Manchester City travelling to Ellen Road, where Leeds are unbeaten in 22 games under the lights. So, of course, we've got the old man, Terry, with us. How's things, mate?
Yeah, good. It's been a good week for United, beating Everton Monday night, which was needed. Decent performance, Šeško scoring goals again, and we faced Palace this weekend with an opportunity to go 6 points clear of Chelsea, who have a really tough game at Arsenal. The Champions League draw was amazing. I'm enjoying watching all the piss that's boiling across social media with people calling it a fix and things like that. So yeah, it's been very good, mate. Very good week.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's the City fans or Chelsea fans calling it a fix. But make sure you go down, do some basic housekeeping, drop a like if you haven't already. Get over to Terry's channel and subscribe, and also subscribe to this channel. We are going to start with the Champions League draw, which, I mean, we'll come to Arsenal in a minute. Let me just bring it up for anyone who hasn't actually seen the Champions League draw. There are some tasty fixtures in there. Some very tasty fixtures. There we go. I can bring it up like this. Yeah, you look at the Chelsea fact that they've got to play PSG. There you go. The graphics on the screen now. So Chelsea have got PSG. Liverpool have got Galatasaray. Real Madrid have got City again. Atalanta, Bayern Munich. I can't believe there's only one Italian team in the last 16.
Yeah.
Leverkusen, Arsenal, Sporting Bodo Glimt. We have Atleti and Newcastle have got Barcelona, who they've already played in the league phase. We'll start with Arsenal because there's a lot of talk about if they don't make the final, it's a bottle job. It's, as you said, it's fixed. I mean, Leverkusen, what do you kind of make of their route to the final, Arsenal's? Obviously, they start with Leverkusen.
Yeah, look, I think that I understand where people are coming from in the sense that Arsenal should be doing something here. This is a great opportunity for Arsenal. This is the dream. This is the draw they would have dreamt of last night when Mikel Arteta is going to bed. Last night when Mikel Arteta, when he wakes up this morning, every Arsenal fan, I don't think they could have got a better. The only thing that could have made the draw better potentially would have been Chelsea being on this side instead of Barcelona. Right. And I mean that with the utmost respect to Chelsea Football Club. This is about as perfect as it could be for Arsenal. And not just because, and let me just preface this by saying they shouldn't take Bayer Leverkusen easy. They shouldn't take Bodo Glimt or Sporting easy. They shouldn't write them off. They shouldn't be disrespectful. However, this is more than just the Champions League. They play their second leg at home against Bayer Leverkusen 4 days before the Carabao Cup final, where City will be at home to Real Madrid 3 or 4 days before the Carabao Cup final. If City get through to the quarterfinals, they're very likely to play Bayern Munich, and it'll be Sporting or Bodo Glimt for Arsenal. 4 days before, City play Arsenal in what's dubbed as the Premier League decider. Man City will be away to Bayern Munich in the second leg of the quarterfinals, where Arsenal will be at home to either Sporting or Bodo Glimt. And I think those margins could tip the scales in either direction. It's a marginal and a close title race. So I think Arsenal, I wouldn't call it luck. There's always an element of luck in the draw. There's no doubt about it. But obviously playing the second legs at home is due to them winning and due to them being so good in the league phase. The element of luck is they could have been drawn on the other side and had to play either City or Real Madrid. I mean, what we could have had is that scenario of Arsenal and City playing each other 3 times in the space of a week, and we've avoided that. But what we could get is a Man City-Arsenal final now, which means you've got a Carabao Cup final, a close Premier League title race, and maybe a Champions League final. But Arsenal fans, I think, will be over the moon. They've just got to guard, in my view, against any type of complacency settling in. That will be the only area I feel that they could come a cropper in, is if they get a little bit complacent, maybe if they start overlooking a Bayer Leverkusen or a Sporting or a Bodo Glimt. If they remain focused, what they should be able to do in these games is win the first legs away and then be able to not take it easy in the second leg, but maybe you start a few of your big hitters on the bench, see the game out, don't have to, save some energy in those legs. Where you're looking at City now, for City to progress in the Champions League, it's full strength team both legs against Madrid, full strength team in both legs against Bayern Munich. The other side of it, though, if they get knocked out, City by Real Madrid, which is plausible, then in the build-up to that big Premier League game, there's no match for Man City. So from that perspective and point of view, it could end up helping Man City in their Premier League title race. So I love this draw from a title race perspective. And the same could be said for the top 4 race, because Chelsea have got to play Newcastle like sandwiched in between 2 games against PSG. And if they get through that and they get Liverpool in that quarterfinal, their run of fixtures around the quarterfinal first and second leg, I think they play.
Yeah,
Man
they've got like
City
Aston Villa, haven't they?
No, it's after that. So they play Man City at home. It'd be Liverpool they'd play the first leg, then they play City away. No, I've got it wrong. They play City away, the first leg against Liverpool. Okay, and then they play. I'm going to get it wrong. I have to go and look. I'm going to get it wrong.
They got City at home.
Yeah, Aston Villa. No,
first leg against Liverpool, and then Manchester United.
Yes, that's it. So the game would be sandwiched. The legs would be sandwiched between those 2 games. So in the space of 4 games, they would potentially play Liverpool twice, Man City, and Man United. So I think for the top 4 race and the title race, this is just an absolutely fantastic run of games that we're now going to be served up. As we said before, I think it's going to be absolutely brilliant.
Do you think it will be an all-English final? Because I think City will get past Real Madrid. I don't know if they'll get past Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich have been very, very strong. And because of their situation in their league, they could end up being something like 10 points ahead of Borussia Dortmund, meaning they can literally rest everyone. The same with PSG. If PSG kick on in Ligue 1, those 2 teams could theoretically rest an entire squad ready for the Champions League game. I don't know. I think it will be a Man City Bayern quarterfinal, and I have a feeling Bayern will win that. I also have a feeling Chelsea will get past PSG. I know that's going to be a bit of an unpopular opinion, but I don't know if you watched the PSG Monaco game. They weren't actually that great at all. Ousmane Dembele's been out injured. Chelsea beat them in the Club World Cup final as well, and we know Parma loves this sort of occasion. Liverpool will get past Galatasaray. I think Barca will get past Newcastle. The Atleti game for us, look, we are in a relegation battle, but in the Champions League, we have actually been decent, but we haven't faced opposition as strong as Atletico. The only team we did play was PSG, and they scored 5 past us. So I'm not expecting us to get past Atleti, but in terms of an all-English final, I certainly personally think it'll be an Arsenal-Barcelona semi-final. And I mean, if I flip a coin, that could go either way. But certainly on the other side of the draw, Liverpool are very strong in this competition. Chelsea are very strong. Do you think it could be an all-English final?
It could be. It could be. What I'd love is an all-English semi-final. Just for someone who covers
the North London derby semi-final.
Well, yeah. I mean, I look at it and think that I'd love that. That's purely based on the league that I follow and the content that I make and the fans that I talk to. Having that as your 2 semi-finals would just be carnage on every level. But it would also prove that we're the biggest and the best and the strongest league and the best league in the world, not just the biggest, as well. And, North London derby the thing is, I just can't see you guys getting past Ati and Barcelona and or Newcastle. What's more likely is, I think it's more likely, if it's an all-English semi-final on Arsenal side, I think it's more likely to be Newcastle Arsenal than Tottenham Arsenal. But
North London, more chance of them getting past Barcelona than us past Atletico.
Yeah, but then there's more chance of them there's more chance of them beating Barca and beating Ati than there is you beating both. They're better than you.
Well, not in the Champions League, they're not.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Well, you've got a new manager now. Let's see what it's like with, Mr. Henry VIII. Do you know what I mean? Let's see what happens.
We'll have the Atletico Madrid game at home. So we'll know going into the last 16.
Maybe. Listen, by the way, I'd like it. I mean, I'd love to watch a North London derby semi-final in the Champions League, because the level of toxicity online would be. I mean, you guys are already doing mad stuff. Have you seen the Spurs fans this week on TalkSport claiming that if you get relegated, that's less of a bottle job than if Arsenal don't win a trophy?
Yeah, it was Sonny that said that. I mean, I love Sonny. He's a great lad.
His
But
name, I didn't
when
know
I
his
heard
name.
that, I thought,
Mate, the other one, have you seen the claims that it's corruption because they were looking at a 9x16 frame, like a TikTok size frame, and they went, oh my God, look, it shows the referee couldn't even see the push. One, if you actually watch the full video, it's in like widescreen and you can. Two, it's like you do realize that human eyes see more than a TikTok lens and we can move our eyeballs. I couldn't believe the level of meltdown and stuff this week from Spurs fans. But look, I'd love a North London derby semi-final. I would love what I consider a classic Champions League semi-final as well. I would love Chelsea, but Chelsea Liverpool can't meet in the semis. That's the problem. It's only the quarterfinals. That would be an amazing semi-final, quarterfinal. Those two had so many epic games in the noughties. So I'd love a kind of throwback to that era as well. But I'd love all the English teams to be in the semis and then in the final. But imagine Arsenal Chelsea final. Woo! Imagine the
build-up. The Europa League draw happened.
Must have done. I don't know.
Yeah, it has. Aston Villa have got Lille.
Okay.
I don't know. Nottingham Forest have got Midland. So we could end up with a semi-final of Nottingham Forest versus Aston Villa.
Yeah, they're on the same side. Yeah. I mean, I mean, both can't win it. That's the mad bit. Both can't win it because they're on the same. Like, they both can't get to the final. I mean, because they are in the. Yeah,
Aston Villa have got the home side as well.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one. I don't see them. I don't see them winning that. And no, I don't personally see it. And what about the
Conference League is?
Let me get it up now. So the Conference League, I can't see the teams. Where are Crystal Palace?
Crystal Palace have got.
The draw hasn't happened yet, is it?
Yeah, the draw is happening now as we speak.
Okay.
But they will get either Mainz or AEK Larnaca, the Greek Cypriot team, I believe they are. So again, because of their position that they should get a home tie as well. But moving on to the weekend, big games in the title race. We'll start with Man City. Now, I don't know if you know this, but under the lights, at either a 5:30 game or an 8 o'clock kickoff, Leeds United are unbeaten in 22 games. This Leeds United fan must have told me that 50 times the last couple of days. Do you think there's an upset on the hands age? Like, do you think this is going to be a potential banana skin for City, looking at Leeds United's home record has actually been very, very good in recent weeks, and the fact that, you know, it's almost essentially a free hit for them. You know, they went to Stamford Bridge and got a point. Stack scores an unbelievable free kick at Villa Park. They got a point there as well. You know, they got absolutely hammered by Arsenal, but that was, 4-0, which, Arsenal at the time were playing sensational football. Leeds United also, got past. Yeah, they got a draw against you at home. I think the only big six sides that have beaten them have been us and Arsenal. They beat Fulham recently at home as well. They beat Forest recently at home. Do you think City, going off the fact of an 8-game unbeaten run, 7 wins in their last 8, do you think this is going to be a 3 points in the bag, or do you think there's opportunity for an upset here?
There's always opportunity for an upset in the Premier League because it's the most difficult league in the world to win. It's the deepest league. We've seen it already. We've got teams like Spurs who are genuinely in relegation battles in our league because our league's so hard, in last round 16 ties and have a good chance of going to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. That for me demonstrates the strength. We've got Forest in a relegation battle who look fairly comfortable in the Europa League. It shows how strong we are. So that means an upset can happen at any moment. It's two of my biggest rivals playing. Don't like Leeds and I don't like Man City, but I do hope Leeds win because anything to stop City winning the league is good for me, unless it's something that hurts my team. Does that make so? When Chelsea play City in a few weeks' time, that's where I'm like, okay, please just a draw because, well, no, I think I'd rather a City win. Depends on the scenario. A draw's good because it takes 2 points away, but Chelsea picking up points could hurt Man United. So I'd rather it that way around. This is one of those weekends where I want Leeds to win and I want Arsenal to win because that helps Manchester United in the here and now. Of course it can happen, but I don't think it will. I actually think City are going to end up winning 3-0 this weekend. I think they're going to have one of those games that everybody goes, oh, they could drop points. They could drop points. I think they're 2-0 up inside 20 minutes. And the game's over. I think it's going to be one of those nights where Leeds start fast and powerful. They get caught. Semenyo's going to get... I wouldn't be surprised if Semenyo or Haaland breaks in the first 20 minutes. Boom, boom. Game dead.
Interesting. I think City will win. I don't think there'll be a couple of goals up inside 20 minutes. I think, Leeds United's home record in the league, they are currently ranked 12th. They've won 6 of 13. They've only lost 3 games at home in 12, which is a very, very, very good stat for them. And they actually have 3 home games on the bounce now where they play Man City, Sunderland, and they've got Norwich in the FA Cup. And they've actually not really got a difficult game until the 11th of April after the City game, which is against you boys. I think if there's any team that would love to upset the apple cart, because obviously, Leeds don't particularly like you or City, I think it would be them. I do think, however, City will win. What's going to be interesting is the fact that Arsenal play 4:30. They already know the result of the Leeds game. And they've got a very good record against Chelsea at home. It's almost like, City know what they've got to do and Arsenal know what they've got to do before each other's games happen. I think City win this 2-1. I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet. I don't think it'll be a walk in the park. I think it'll be a very, very tight game. If City draw, hypothetically, and Arsenal go on to beat Chelsea, Arsenal would be on 64 points. Man City would be on 57. Is the title race not done? But then does it become almost Arsenal then have to go to the Etihad in a few weeks' time and they can play for a draw? Is that sort of mindset you think that would come into play?
If City drop points this weekend and Arsenal beat Chelsea, then Arsenal just slightly increase their marginal advantage. I still think it's close. There's a game in hand and there's the Etihad. They win the game in hand. They beat them at the Etihad. There's 1 point in it going into the last 4 games of the season. That's an advantage, but it isn't a massive advantage. What it does do is apply more pressure, though, to Manchester City. They have to beat Arsenal at the Emirates. They have to hope they slip up before that. They themselves can't slip up in any games in the build-up to it. And that extra pressure, and as we mentioned earlier, coupled with this Champions League draw, changes everything. So equally, City win this weekend and Arsenal drop points. The same scenario works in reverse, where Arsenal then have no room for error, maybe have to beat them at the Etihad and hope they drop something in their game in hand. And I think that's the beauty of a title race. And I said more than that, 4 months ago now, that everybody's got to stop with this title race is over. This is over. We all have our moments. The other week when City dropped points to Spurs, I think I had a knee-jerk reaction in the moment where I just sort of said, that's it. Arsenal are going to be champions. But I calmed down within about an hour and a half and I went, do you know what? Arsenal are going to drop points. City are going to drop points. It's going to go up and down and it's going to go right down to the wire. But of course, Arsenal having an advantage, if they can extend that advantage this weekend to say 7 points, that puts them in that means they could lose at the Etihad. They could lose at the game in hand and still be ahead of them, which gives Arsenal a much bigger advantage. That means, as you're right, a draw at the Etihad would be like a win to Arsenal because they would maintain a 7-point advantage. And then even if the game in hand is won, it's 4 points going into what would then be the last 3 or 4 games. But even then, I still think it's close. One slip up in that period and it could fall away. The only time I think Arsenal could really start to not look over their shoulder and relax would be if you got between now, there's 10 games left for Arsenal. If they could extend this lead to 11 to 12 points through City messing up and then winning, that's when I think they could relax. Up until that point, I think it's going to be high pressure right to the end, mate.
When you look at the games that City have got between now and the cup final, if you take out the Champions League running, look, they've got Nottingham Forest, they've got Leeds, they've got West Ham, and they've got Crystal Palace in the next 4 or 5 league games. I don't want to say that is 5 wins for City, but anything other than 5 wins, looking at where the other teams are in the table, Leeds, Forest, West Ham are all in relegation battles. Look, is anything other than 5 straight wins for them like a failure, looking at where they are in the title race? knowing the fact that Arsenal have to play Chelsea. Arsenal have got the tougher run of games. They've got Brighton away, which is a lot more difficult than Forest or West Ham or Palace. Do you think anything other than 5 wins for City there is pretty much a failure? When you look at who they're playing.
Yeah, look, I think in a title race, yes. I mean, if Arsenal drop points to Leeds, people would say failure. Forest, they'd say failure. They did. Newcastle away, that's in the FA Cup, so let's ignore that. West Ham away, yep. Again, if Arsenal lost that game or dropped points, people would say failure. Then Palace at home, yes, they'd say failure. So you have to apply the same brushstrokes to City because they're a very, very good team. And they've gone out this during this season and brought in Guehi and Semenyo, two of the best players in the league, and they've started to improve under it. So as their squad improves, as that money is invested, the expectations must grow. They've got one of the greatest managers to ever manage in football, and that's a big advantage. So I'll use City fans' language here, but they must win these 5 games. Dropping points in any of these games is bad. Is bad news for the title race, especially as Arsenal are in that period playing harder matches. And if they pick up the points in the harder matches and you drop points in the easier games, then when your fixtures turn again and you get a harder run, that puts you under more pressure. Plus, Arsenal are leading the race right now. Arsenal are leading that race.
Yeah, I mean, the Chelsea game, I'll come on to Man United in a second because I just want to ask you a couple of questions about that. But you look at, Brighton away in recent times in title races has caused huge upsets. You think of that Asensio goal a few years ago, which Man City dropped points. You look at Chelsea, just like Tottenham, would love to cause an upset and cause more drama in the title race. Everton, I think something like 6 or 7 games. David Moyes has got a draw or a decent-ish result against Arteta. That's not an easy game. And then you look after the cup final, after that, going into April, they've got City, Newcastle, West Ham away, Fulham, Palace away. Like, there are some tough games in there. But on the top, not on the top race, on the top 4 race, obviously, Arsenal have got Chelsea this weekend. Liverpool have got West Ham. And Man United have got a Crystal Palace side who played only yesterday. Like, I actually think Man United will finish 3rd at this point in the season. I think Villa could quite easily, drop out of the top 4. What are your thoughts going into, kind of the business end of the season for Man United and their top 4 hopes? Do you think you can finish 3rd? Do you think it's still, anyone's game, or are you kind of confident because Man United don't have FA Cup, they don't have Champions League, and they've got 1 game a week between now and the end of the season?
Yeah, look, that helps us as long as we keep a fit squad, if that makes sense. We can keep a fit squad. I think we'll be all right in that regard. So like if I look at this weekend as an example, I think Man United will beat Crystal Palace and we're going to go on to 51 points. I also think Liverpool are going to beat West Ham quite convincingly and move on to 48 points. Right now, my prediction is that Chelsea lose to Arsenal 2-1. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park like some people are predicting. I don't think Chelsea players will be so up for this game. I think I said 3-2 yesterday, and I've changed my mind to 2-1 now, but the premise is still the same. I think it's going to be a close game. But I think Chelsea lose, and that will put Chelsea 6 points away from 4th, and it will put them 3 points away from finishing in the top 5. The good thing is, as much as people like to not count their chickens before they've hatched, with most of the Italian teams going out of Europe, coefficient wise, the English teams, I think it works out mathematically that if all the English teams win at least one of their next 2 legs, they ain't got to qualify, but just win one of the games in the next 2 legs, it becomes mathematically impossible for anyone else to catch us on coefficient.
If they like can, 87% chance or something like that, 88% chance.
Yeah, and so yeah, again, if every English team was to win at least one game in that point, that's going to rise up to like 90%. So I think Chelsea will be okay in terms of they've got a chance of making it in the top 5 still, but they're going to move into 6th position. And I also think Aston Villa win this weekend away against Wolves, which would pull them 9 points clear of Chelsea.
That's tonight, isn't it?
Tomorrow.
Tonight.
Yeah, that's tonight. It's tonight. Yes. Sorry, it's tonight. Yes. So we're going to have an idea tonight by close of business what Chelsea, Man United, and Liverpool's tasks are this weekend. But excuse me, I'm not
You've got an awful record, by the way, in recent years at Molineux. I think they've won something like one of their last 7 games at Molineux or something like that. I see earlier on Twitter. Which, if a draw goes your way, I mean, you beat Palace, which I do think you will beat Palace. There's only 1 point between you and Villa, if that scenario happens.
Yeah, it's it's crazy. It's yeah. I just look at it and I like the Villa might drop out the top 5. I mean, a lot of people are predicting that to happen when the Europa League starts back up. From a Man United fan perspective, I'm just really focused on beating Palace, and I want that to be all we're thinking about. If I could create a world where Man United players, coaching staff don't even look at the league table for the next 5, 6, 7 games, and all we focus on is how do we beat our next opponent, then I'd be very confident we make the top 4. If we've got Palace next. The game after that's hard for us. We've got Newcastle.
Yeah,
so
the United games.
Newcastle away is really hard, really, really hard for us. That being said, they've got big Champions League games on the horizon. FA Cup games.
Yeah, the timing for you is brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. So my hope is that by the time they play us, they might decide to rest someone. But if we could beat
Villa,
Palace,
when you play Villa, they can have Europa League as well.
If we beat Palace, if we could get a draw against Newcastle minimum, and if we could beat Villa at home, if we get 7 points from our next 3 games, I'll be 95% sure we're going to make the Champions League next year. I think that would just put us into a position.
I think you're going to get 9.
Well, if we get 9, then I think it's almost a guarantee, because I think my prediction in that point is that we would have something like a 9 to 10 point gap between falling out, and I just don't see there being a 10, 11 point swing in the last sort of 7 or 8 games of the season. I think we'd stay through. But in terms of the Palace game, we've got to show intensity from the beginning. We've got to start Šeško in this game. I think it's absolutely imperative that Šeško starts. I feel that Palace are going to sit deep, just as West Ham and Everton did. And the one thing we haven't had in those games is a focal point early enough to start crossing balls into the box when we've had it in crossing positions, because the Cunhas and the Mbumos don't play like a traditional number 9. So from my point of view and from my perspective, I just want to see some balls whipped into the box that little bit earlier. I want to see Šeško on the football pitch. I want to see us working as hard as we have done in the last 2 games of getting back into shape when we lose the ball. And if we do that, I think with them having played last night and played quite hard last night, I think we beat Palace, and then we move on, to the next one, and then it will be straight over, all eyes on Arsenal, Chelsea.
I want to ask, just moving away from Man United, I want to ask you. I was asked this midweek a couple of times. Gut feeling right now, do you think Tottenham go down?
Last week I did a whole big thing about why you're going down. What has slightly changed my mind is I didn't spend that much time looking at West Ham's fixtures. They're horrendous.
Yeah, but bearing in mind, we're going to have Champions League. That little fixture.
I hear you. What I'm saying is, I think you may lose enough games and drop enough points to go down. I'm not sure if West Ham, looking at their fixtures, are going to pick up enough points to overtake you. I put £1,000 on you guys to go down. And I'm now looking at that bet and I'm thinking, once I get a decent cash out option, like this weekend, if West Ham drew and you guys lost, I'm cashing out, because West Ham's, I didn't look at West Ham's fixtures enough. It was a massive mistake from me, because they're running, according to Opta.
I've not even seen their running.
So I'll get their fixtures up and talk you through them now. But according to Opta, it's the hardest running of any club remaining in
Do you think they've got more fight than us? Like, do you think they've got a bit more, because they're kind of seasoned veterans when it comes to...
Yeah, they have. But let's go through it, right? So they play Liverpool away, Fulham away in the next 2 games. Then the home to Man City. Then they're away to Aston Villa. I think they're getting a maximum 1 point from those 4 games. Maximum 1 point from those 4 games. Okay? Then we move on from there.
Fulham, City, Villa and Liverpool.
Liverpool away, that's 0 points. Fulham away, 1 point.
A point. Yeah.
A point, potentially. City at home, they lose. Villa away, they lose. 1 point. They play Wolves at home, 4 points. I think they get 4 points. Palace away, I'm going to throw a cheeky 3 points in there because Palace, Europa League, everything else, right? So we're now on 7 points. Everton at home, draw, 8 points. Brentford away, no points. West Ham at home, no points. Newcastle away, no points. West Ham at home, 3 points. So I've counted 11 points there. That's me being really honest. I see 11 points. If we look at Tottenham
They've
as
got
an
Leeds
example,
last game of the season.
yeah, and we don't know where Leeds are going to be in this race at that point. But if we look at you guys in the Premier League, Fulham away, you'll lose. Palace at home, you win, 3 points. Liverpool away, you lose. Nottingham Forest at home, you draw, you're on 4. Sunderland away, you draw.
That's 5.
Brighton at home, you lose. Wolves away, you win, 8. Villa away, you lose, 8. Leeds at home, you win, 11. Chelsea away, you lose. Everton at home, you win. So I think you're going to get about 14 points. So you're already 4 points ahead. I just don't, if they're fixtures, man, they're fixtures. Now, where it could go wrong, and maybe this is why the odds are so good in your favor, where it could go wrong is if you guys just don't get out of this. If you get beat by Fulham, you get beat by Palace at home, you lose to Liverpool away, you draw with Forest, you lose to Sunderland, you lose to Brighton. If you don't win if you win none of your next 5, 6, 7 games, that's where it might change because you guys might lose complete and utter belief. But it's West Ham's fixtures. They just they're so hard. Like if West Ham in that period had, a Burnley at home, a Bournemouth at home, they were playing, if some of their games that they've got were the other way around, not the away fixtures, if they were at home to Newcastle, they might have a chance. I just honestly, I can't see my mind's changed from you lot will have an awful end to the season. You're going to win 2 or 3 games. That being said, you've only won 1 game since the 14th of December. So if that repeats itself, you might go down. But I think you'll get more wins. I think because what's going to start to happen, you guys, there's a lot of teams you're playing as well that are just going to be playing for very little. They'll be safe. But yeah, my mind's changed a little bit from last week. It's changed a little bit from last week. But I hope you go down.
I mean, that Liverpool game slap bang in the middle of Atletico Madrid. I mean, the timing of that, it's just like, I mean, the only kind of saving grace is towards mid-March, we should have Kulusevski, Bergvall. We should have quite a few players back. But Forest have got a new manager. Sunderland have only lost, 1 game at home or 2 games at home this season. Palace. I mean, I don't think we'll beat Fulham. I think Harry Wilson's definitely got something in store for us.
Where it gets precarious, it's if West Ham, and it's a big if West Ham get results in the next few weeks no one expects. Let's say they pulled off a shock and got a draw at Liverpool, or they lose at Liverpool. Let's say that they beat Fulham, they beat Brentford, got a draw at home against City, and got a draw at home away at Villa. If they had a run like that where they picked up 3, 6, 7, 8 points in the next 5 games, and you guys pick up 2 draws, they'd go above you, then my mind would change again. Because then I think that you guys, I don't think you would recover from that. I think it would hurt you. But I think what helps your team win games is watching West Ham drop points. Does that make almost like, we're going to be okay, guys? Because I think if you guys get sucked into the mire, I just stupidly didn't look at West Ham's fixtures. And I probably
Forest
should.
haven't got an easy run either. Forest have got Brighton away, City away, Fulham at home, us away, Villa at home, and they've got Midland home and away in between that Fulham game. Then you look on to the next set of fixtures. They've got Sunderland and Chelsea.
We all look at it and we're like, it's going to be tight. There's a long way to go. There's 30 points, 33 points to play for. It's a lot of bloody points. There's a lot of trials and tribulations. But I do think you guys will only mark, I don't think you're going to sort of be clear of it by, 15, 20 points. I do think there is the distinct possibility that you only finish the season 4 or 5 points clear of the relegation drop zone. It'll be a tough one. But I'm starting to think now, looking at the fixtures of other teams, you'll be okay. Unless they can pull off a madness. Unless West Ham and Forest start pulling off results nobody expects. And you go, wow. Like if they, for instance, pick up 8, 9 points in games that we all think are 0 points coming from them, and you guys don't start winning your gimmies, maybe then you could go. I'd love it though, mate. I keep saying I'd love you guys to go down, but it's more one of those conversations I think needs to be addressed in another 4 or 5 games time. Does that make sense? Because I think that will give us a better look of where everybody is.
Sound like Kevin Keegan. I'd love it if we beat them. But look, we are going to wrap up. Make sure you get over to Terry and subscribe to the Football Terrace and Terry Flewers TV. Have you got any more content coming out today at all?
Straight facts on the Football Terrace, and then that'll be me until all the match reaction this weekend, mate. So yeah, nice chilled afternoon, and then getting ready for the football this weekend, mate. Can't wait.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm looking forward. I mean, Super Sunday is going to be very interesting with us playing Fulham. I think Liverpool have got West Ham and then straight into the Arsenal-Chelsea game. But make sure you drop a like on the way out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we will see you both very, very soon.